Well, here we are tonight for the Roughneck Racing, presented by Wagoner's Welding. I'd like to apologize for the late start here tonight, but we're going to jump right into our grid as V-Speed is a little bit behind here tonight on the scheduling. Starting on the pole here tonight, we have, with a 40.084, Daniel Love. Jeff Scott will start to the outside with a 40.105. That is your front row for Auto Club in race number 13. Moving on to row number 2, Brian Hennings, Johnny Hurst. Row number 3, Larry Fairman and Chris Ramsey. Then row number 4 goes to Jimmy Pyland, Greg Chains, Jolly. Finally got the front to back name on that one. Benjamin Richards and Mama Teresa Spiker will round out your top 10. Justin Hollings will start in 11th position with Dale Adamson in 12th. 13th goes to Edward Fiedler and Doug Wagoner. These cars electing not to take a time. And Tim Richardson will round out your 15-car field. So as I was a little bit behind, we'll take you over here and talk a little bit about our race analysis here tonight as we'll get the one to go signal. .100 laps here today, 55-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. 3 tire sets available, 1 fast repair on the limit, and 80% fuel on that iRacing fixed setup. Talk a little bit about Auto Club Speedway. Well, it's undergoing a transition as of late, but as it's known in the 2-mile oval with 14 degrees of progressive banking in the corners, very high-speed racetrack. We'll see these trucks well over 180 miles per hour as they go around this place. And drafting, not quite like the pack racing that you might be familiar with at Daytona or Talladega, but definitely a place where draft is going to be important. As this race progresses, we will most likely see this field spread out. But with that, let's get you trackside and get ready for the green here tonight. Daniel Love will lead them into turn 1. Jeff Scott to the outside. And for race number 13. For race number 13, we're set to go for the Roughneck Truck Series live in California into turn 1. It is your pole sitter, and the top 5 have pretty much stayed the same with the exception of one driver, Benjamin Richards, working his way through this field rather quickly. And you got to consider, is he burning up his stuff, or is he just that much faster than the rest of this field? To the bottom here, the inside of Jeff Scott, he's went from the 7th, 8th position, actually 9th spot, all the way up to 3rd. And he's challenging Jeff Scott for that 2nd spot all the way on the bottom. That thing is hooked up. Looks like a rocket ship going to the front of this pack. 3 wide here for 2nd. Hennings on the outside. Love has pulled away about half a second here. Richards gets a little block going into 1 and 2. Still trying to figure out a way around the 38 of Jeff Scott. Not able to do so. Now Richards getting passed back by Brian Hennings here on the upper side of this racetrack. See how fast the bottom was there for a few laps. Now it seems that it's all falling apart. Innings back up to third. Just like that for Richards. It resets. Looking deeper in this field, back to 9th position as you see the 56 of Richards fall back progressively to where he started this race. This is where Richards had started. Chris Ramsey is filling that spot now from the 9th position. And Teresa Spiker just behind that. This truck almost seems wide open at times around this place. Some side-by-side behind there. It's Ed Fiedler in contact. Fiedler's around across the tri-oval grass and somehow keeps it off the wall. Phenomenal job there by Fiedler to keep that truck from hitting that inside wall. Let's see if we can get a better angle of this. The number 30 of Doug Wagoner on the inside there, and I'm not sure if the 10 came down. It looks like maybe a little bit of meeting in the middle there. We stay green. Unfortunately for Fiedler, he's going to fall all the way back to the 15th position and is now 11 and a half seconds. Almost a full 12 seconds as that continues to grow. Daniel Love. Innings has worked up one position up to second. Johnny Hurst on the move as well into third. Side by side, actually 3 wide here with the 29, Jimmy Pylan. Pylan, last week's winner. To the inside, 3 wide. Jeff Scott has fallen back to 6th, down 4. On the outside, the 99 of Larry Fairman. Benjamin Richards has settled out in the 7th spot on board now with the 56. Had a lot of speed, kind of throwing it out of orbit there at the beginning of this race. Thought for sure that he would be sustained in the top 3. And a lot of speed in qualifying as well. Just didn't quite get that lap that he needed. As we ride on board with the 56, maybe considering that the tires are getting used up, back to town a little bit. We'll see here in the next 15 laps or so if that was the case. Side by side in front, Highland to the outside. The 99 of Fairman trying to take away the top 5 will do so on the exit of turn 2. Jeff Scott continuing to fall back. A change for 2nd position. Johnny Hurst has gotten around Brian Hennings. He's not going to stop there. It looks like Hurst has the momentum. Going to catch up to Daniel Love now. Peek to the inside into turn 1. Pass for the lead for the 3. All the way down to the apron. A slide job coming here. It gets really tight off of turn 2. Into the wall. Hennings and Love both go down to avoid. Here comes Scott, the 29 of Pyland. And just like that, from the lead back to 5th place for Johnny Hurst. And that's what progressive banking feels like. For those of you riding on board with the 3, this racetrack worked him up really quickly. Maybe had something to do with touching that apron there. Go back up front. Hennings is going to try some work. Jeff Scott to the inside for 2nd here. Hennings all over the back bumper. The 71 of Love. The 38 of Jeff Scott had tried into turn 1. The 3 has got back around Pyland for the 4th position. Top 5 shuffling around. Multi-groove racing. Lots of ways to get around here at Auto Club, but the best one is down in that middle line where you're able to save your tires and get a good exit off the corners. Track temperature 73 degrees. It is rather cool here tonight. For Love and Hennings, top spot's not quite decided. 0.06 of a second of bump draft down the front stretch. Hennings pushes into turn 1. Jeff Scott back to the bottom again. Looks like the bottom just not fast enough to complete the pass. Top 3 have branched away from Hurst about 0.2 of a second. Actually continuing to grow down this front stretch. It's almost a full half second. Great exit here for the top 3. Has that draft for the advantage. Scott's going to try to get a 2-for-1 special into turn 1. Off of turn 2. Back to the door of Hennings. They'll stay side by side down the backstretch. Meanwhile, Hennings peeks to the outside, and Love has his hands full. Less than 0.03 or 0.3 of a second separating the top 3. And you know Jeff Scott wants to lead his first lap. Not quite able to do it yet. Has had the momentum swing in his favor. Another attempt at a 2-for-1 all the way to the bottom. Saving tires as much as he can. Eventually this will work, and I know that it's frustrating that you can't get past these drivers, but if you keep running that bottom, keep the right front on this truck, it's going to pay dividends at lap 30. The inside of Hennings again here for 2nd position. And issues with our timing and scoring, issues with the session entirely. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. You're watching the Roughneck Racing League. We'll try to get back in this session in just a moment. More coverage will continue right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back into the session here, 20 laps into this event, and the 38 of Jeff Scott heavily damaged down the backstretch. We're going to take you back on the V-Speed instant replay and take a look at what happened to the 38. Oh, we're going to really have to back it up, but there's the impact with the inside wall that destroys this truck. No caution comes out here on lap 21. The major issues here with iRacing, and I'm not quite sure what the problem is. Recently having a problem with staying into the sessions. I don't know why. I've been trying to get to the bottom of it, but it's happened to me a few times this past week. There's contact with the leader as well, the 71 of Daniel Love. Now, a complete lockup by ATVO. We're trying to hold it together here. Seven truck around as well, and this might bring out a yellow. Hennings competing for the lead now with the 3 of Johnny Hurst. That time by, Hennings gets the lap led. No, he does not. Just barely misses it. And Hurst is going to get it. Meanwhile, the 56 of Benjamin Richards back there in the 3rd spot, battling with Daniel Love. 3 wide down the backstretch. Hennings leads that time by officially and is trying to break out here on lap 24. Richards looks to the inside of Love again for the 3rd position. So many technical errors here tonight. I apologize to anybody that this might have interfered with. We're going to get through this and put on the best show that we can. The top 5 have done nothing but that. In fact, the top 6, as Jimmy Pylan was up there just a moment ago. Pylan has since fallen back to the 6th position, was up in the top 5. He's lost a little bit of ground to these leaders. Could be saving the tires. Into the wall a little bit here out of turn 2. there's a driver that dominated the day there last week. Dale Adamson did not get the win in Iowa, but most definitely deserved it. Led over 60% of the race. The late race cautions and the strategy calls put him behind the 8 ball. Back on board with Hennings. The slide job from the 3. Hurst moves right up in front of the 74. And might allow Love to the inside. It does. And here comes Daniel Love to fight for the lead. Maybe a 2-for-1 into 1 and 2. All the way to the inside. Richards follows suit. Gonna stay door to door. Not enough out of the exit. Hennings might prevail into the entry of 3. The 3 of Hurst will drop down in front of him. A little pinch here on the entry. Everyone to the bottom of the racetrack. And down pit road for all these drivers. 4 trucks into the pits. A few more takers down pit road as well. Pylon falls in. Just behind that, the 30 of Wagoner, Chris Ramsey. Looks like Tim Richardson also in. Risa Spiker. Greg Jolly, a little bit of a connection issue here. So an issue here for Greg Jolly, and I don't know exactly what's going on here with the 23, but it seems that he's having the same connection issues that I've had. Meanwhile, Larry Fairman is going to cycle out to the lead position. 46 of Dale Adamson has been on the pit box here in the second round. Green flag pit stops 1 lap further here for the 46. Based off of this stint, these drivers might have to make it a 3-stop race. It's going to be rather close if it stays green. Innings to the inside of the 7. That's Justin Hollings in the number 7 machine. Hennings gets cleared. Fairman down pit road now. Hennings will take over the lead now with this pass. Johnny Hurst going to try to keep the 74 honest. Still trying to figure out a way around the 7. Into the wall a little bit here for the 3. Hennings comes by for another lap led. Three-car into the wall, though. And that'll allow Benjamin Richards to the inside. 3 made a big mistake into the entry of turn 1. So now it's Benjamin Richards up to second spot. Here comes Jimmy Pylon. Big mistake there for Johnny Hurst. We'll stay side by side there out of the exit of 4. But we've seen that bottom time and time again not be enough to get clear. Just behind them, Adamson through the middle. Daniel Love. Adamson has the freshest tires to the outside. And he'll get clear for the 6th spot. Brian Henning's lead has stretched out to a full second. Benjamin Richards, Johnny Hurst, Jimmy Pyland, Daniel Love, the top 5. Still some connection issues with the 23. This field has spread out tremendously in just a short amount of time. Green flag pit stops have brought these drivers all over the racetrack. On board with Tim Richardson, 9th position. And so for anybody that's caught in the backhand of this field, it's a tall order to work your way back to that leader. We're looking at 9th position, who is 3. With the connection issue of Greg Chains, I can't quite keep up with the telemetry here. For Tim Richardson, he is 13.5 seconds back from the lead. Larry Fairman to the inside here. Back to 10th now for the 2 truck. Richards getting challenged by Pyland. 2nd through 6th position. As accordion back together. And we got one heck of a battle for 2nd spot. Hurst to the bottom for 2nd position now. Will he clear the 56? He will. Into the back a little bit there for a bump draft. Almost got the 3 trucks sideways. Down on the transition to the apron. 36 laps completed. The lead stands at 1.1 seconds for Brian Hennings. Richardson and Fairman go back and forth again for this 9th spot. Looks like Richardson had the run out of turn 2 and will prevail. Talked about Jeff Scott there a moment ago. He's still on the lead lap. Was somehow able to salvage that. It's a long way around this place. With that damage, had to come down and burn that fast repair. Richards back to 3rd, now playing defense against Highland. Pole sitter back here in 5th spot. Trying to figure out a way around all of it. Hennings maintains the lead, and we have a caution. The 7 truck stuck in the wall. 39, the 7 truck out of turn 4. And that truck gets massively stuck in the wall. Not exactly sure what happened to Justin Hollings, but it looks like a wheel issue. As you can see, the wheel is all the way to the other lock range. Some major issues for the number 7. Meanwhile, Hennings is going to lead the men to pit road. This puts everyone kind of on a weird strategy. We knew that they were going to probably have to take 3 stops. Everyone come down around lap 26. And he's trying to guarantee that spot when he exits pit road. Six lead changes, 1 caution here tonight from Auto Club. 4 tires. Jacks are up on the left side, or right side rather. 2 tire stop for the 3. Don't know if I agree with that for Hurst, but he's going to try to take a position. And quite a few drivers electing to take 2 tire pit stops. Hennings falls back to 3rd. Hurst will be your leader when we go back green. Quick break here on V-Speed. Watching the Roughneck Racing Truck Series, presented by Wagoner's Welding, live on V-Speed. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Auto Club. Roughneck in the Truck Series is set to square off back on lap 43. 2 tires up for this front row. Greg Chains Johnny Hurst on that front. Johnny Hurst gonna elect to start on the outside as the command truck. Connection issues here have been prominent for the 23. Hopefully we can clear that up for him and Go back, green flag racing, lap 43 underway, just about at the halfway point from Auto Club. This is going to be a battle of 2 tires versus 4 tires. Hennings is going to have a big run down the backstretch, a big shove to the back of the 3 of Hurst. Backs up the entry to the corner. Brian Hennings had the lead before that caution with 7 of Hollings. 2 laps, 3 laps down. The outside, Hennings takes it over. Hurst is not going to lap lead that time by. And Hennings is going to check out. And very tight there for the 3. Here comes Benjamin Richards for the 2nd position. Handing out 3 wide just behind him. And almost 4 wide down the front stretch. Hollings down pit road. Another issue there for the 7 truck. Richards is going to try to take away the lead from Hennings. Got a good run on the entry of 1, but overdrove it, touched the wall. So 2 tires not the answer here on this stint. The 3 has fallen back to 6th. Almost contact there with Jeff Scott as he passes for the 5th position. A dive back to the inside, but for Johnny Hurst right now, it just doesn't look like those 2 tires are going to be enough. He gets really tight out of turn 2. Hyland's going to have the run. Actually, Behrman, I subtract that. Here he goes to the inside in 3. And he is clear. Car in the wall back there. That's Adamson in the 46. Very tight off the exit. He was another truck. No, I take that back. Not a truck that took 2 tires, but looking really tight there out of the exit. Actually, the 3 of Hurst moved up in front. Watch here off the exit. Lap 46 out of turn 4. And just nowhere to go. The 3 of Johnny Hurst on these 2 tires is suffering now, back to 7th position. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Richards briefly had it. Didn't quite get the lap led. Daniel Love and Jimmy Pilan just behind the 56. Battle for the lead intensifying just about at the halfway mark through this race. The top 4 have not slowed down to the top 5 or 6 positions, and it went back and forth all race. Hennings has held on to it from about lap 29. It has not looked back since. We're going to look back off of the 74 and see what that mirror looks like. Nobody attempting any kind of move to build that momentum back up. Here comes Love to the inside for 2nd now. Into 3 and 4. Off of the corner. He's at the door of the 56. Richards playing defense on the exit. We'll get back to that position. About to see a dive here from the 71 of Love. All the way to the bottom. just gets clear of Richards for P2. Hennings holds on to the lead by 0.2. Halfway through this race, this time by. That was Get Loud, presented by 29 Graphics. Brian Hennings, Daniel Love, Benjamin Richards, the top three. A battle for the lead, though. The 71 gets a good exit out of turn 2. For sure that Love will have something for the 74 of Hennings to the inside. Doesn't look like it this time by. Riding on board with the 71. He was pole sitter tonight. Has the speed in qualifying. Looks like he has the speed in the second half of this race to chase down Brian Hennings. Drivers that took 2 tires checking in with the 3 of Johnny Hurst is back to the 10th position. Probably regretting that call for track position. It has not benefited the 3 team at all. It loses 9 spots after restarting this race on lap 44. It's in that top spot, back to 9th, back to 10th. Been a difficult drive so far for Johnny Hurst. Closest battle on the racetrack right here. You've got Jeff Scott looking to the inside, the outside, almost hits the wall out of turn 2. Chris Ramsey in the 13. Jimmy Pyland in the 29. This is 4th through 6th position. In the background there, that's Benjamin Richards. Little mistake there on the entry of turn 1. He's going to lose a ton of time and will fall back to the 29 of Pyland. Ramsey to the inside for fourth position will clear off of turn 4. Here goes Jeff Scott. So much turbulence here, and looks like this truck not handling well in dirty air. Off of turn 4 to the inside. 5th position goes to Scott there briefly, trying to pull some side draft. Gets up next to the door of the 29. Still not enough to pull him back. Just clear going into turn 1. .40 laps to go here in just a moment. Brian Hennings has led the vast majority of these laps. Still being challenged by Love, but looking like a possible win here for Brian Hennings. As every lap progresses, the 74 machine continues to drag the 71 behind. Really tight here off of turn 2. And he's really tight off of turn 4. I concede the position here in a moment or two. Looks like running out of right front tire. Time off of exits. Hennings gave just enough ground. Thought Love was going to get around, but not the case this time. All the way to the bottom again. This battle for the lead continues on. Defense being played. 63 laps into this race, 62 completed. We're going to have one more round of green flag pit stops. Who wants to stretch this run out the furthest? Into the wall out of 2. Hennings makes a mistake. Right up on the back bumper, has to be frustrated. They're going to go haymaker for haymaker here. Hennings is going to go back to the inside. Pulls up right next to the 71, down to the bottom in 1 and 2. Possible slide job, can't get the drive off the corner. He's going to fall back behind. He's going to stay at the door, but not quite where he wanted to meet up with the 71 of Love. Now Love breaks the draft. Daniel Love has just enough speed. And down that back straightaway. Able to break away. Henning's going to draft back up to him. But this is a battle for pit road. They've pulled away 1.8 seconds from Richards. This race might come down to these two drivers and who doesn't make a mistake on pit road. Hennings makes a mistake on the racetrack again into the wall here on the entry of turn 3. A drop down to the bottom for the 71. Holding it together. Meanwhile, Jeff Scott trying to find his way around. Neil Adamson in 6th position. But Jeff Scott got by. Peek to the inside for 4th. Fourth back to 7th. Edward Fiedler in the number 10 truck. Watching the back end of this battle. Just outside the top 5. Hennings has dropped back half a second. Less than 40 to go. And look to see Hennings possibly short pit here. The undercut could be beneficial. Time continues to run out for Brian Hennings. And what could be a possible podium finish. Don't want to make a mistake. Benjamin Richards starting to reel him in. It's about 1 second difference here from the 74 to the 56. Last time by, Hennings runs a 42.5. Richards with a 42.2. He's the fastest truck on the racetrack. Plenty of speed for Richards to catch up to 2nd. Continuing to watch that lead dwindle down. Here comes Hennings with 30 to go into pit road. Risa Spiker also down 2 laps down. So I have 9 trucks on the lead lap. Johnny Hurst has hit the pit as well. This could be the race-winning move, though, as Love continues to stay out. We'll see how long the 71 wants to elect to stay out on this racetrack. Looks like he's going to bring it down pit road. And Richards gains a lot of time here on the entry to pit. A few other trucks come in behind the 38 of Jeff Scott. Dale Adamson also in. Jimmy Pyland. 13 of Ramsey. Dale Adamson. Edward Fiedler. Still out on the racetrack. Lap led. Started back in 13th here tonight. Going to continue to roll around on to pit road now. Fiedler got a lap lead. Larry Fairman in as well. Johnny Hurst, who was the first in this mix, just ahead of Brian Hennings. How about the 30 truck of Doug Wagoner giving a challenge to the inside of the 3. He's going to try to lead a lap. To the lead for the 30. And he lead a lap here from Auto Club. He'll try to clear the 3 of Hurst. He will, but down the backstretch, not much momentum. Which line does he want to take into 3? Big run down to the bottom for Hennings. And Hennings is going to prevent that from happening. Ryan Hennings is 3.3 seconds ahead of Daniel Love, the driver. He was challenged with the lead earlier. Just has to maintain this gap. No mistakes here for the 74 if you want the win. Richards, not a good in and out. Falls back to 6, was in the top 3. He'll look to the inside of Adamson. Pass completed onto the entry of 3. Meanwhile, Fiedler, 3 wide. Jimmy Pilan on the high line. Fiedler did a heck of a job coming down pit road. Looking like a top 5 finish possible here. In about 3.2 seconds. We won't know for about another 10 laps if that tire advantage will get him up there to that top 5. I'd venture to say that Ed Fiedler could get a top 5 day. Piling back to the outside here down the backstretch. Richards still working on the 46 of Adamson across the nose. Really close there. Benjamin Richards fighting hard for the 5th position. Love has 1 lap pressure tires. Brian Hennings' lead has dwindled down to 1.6 seconds. Does Daniel Love have enough time? He gets into the outside wall out of turn 2. Has the 3 of Hurst to the inside. Next has to work on Doug Wagoner. We're talking about almost a six lap advantage on this stint. Daniel Love is going to go by with ease. 1.3 across the line. 24 to go from Auto Club. Brian Hennings has led almost 40 laps here today. Will most likely cross that threshold this time by. What's in store for the remaining 20 laps of this race, though? Hasn't been as advantageous as I thought it might be. All the way to the bottom for Love. Is Hennings saving his tires for when the 71 catches up? Ford Performance 71 has narrowed that lead down right around half a second. Into turns 1 and 2, both drivers on the high line. Running that second seam, a big run here out of 2, but into the wall. Even then, still a good enough run. Hennings is about to have a mirror full here. As to give some dirty air to the 71. Change for position. Now Adamson down pit road. These drivers might not be able to make it to the end of this race. That is interesting in its own right. If these drivers can't make it to the very end, Hennings might elect to take fuel only. He pitted earlier than some of these drivers that are coming down pit road. Based off the numbers, they might not make it. I don't know for certain. Here goes the lead, though. You know Hennings is going to make it tough. Jimmy Pilan in as well, and this almost confirms for me 11 laps on this stint that these drivers aren't going to make it to the end. Hennings is going to have to be perfect if they have to come back in. On the clutch pedal for the 74. He's going to allow the 71 by, but it sounds like Hennings is saving fuel. Is Daniel Love doing the same? He is not. Well, things are about to get really interesting. You got parts of this field coming into pit road, convinced that they can't make it. Doug Wagoner is catching up to Brian Hennings. Hennings just let the lap down truck. Tim Richardson, no, I take that back. I think it was Jimmy Pilan. Oh, I'm all over the place. It's Johnny Hurst that got back. He's going to get his lap back here to the bottom. Hennings praying it stays green, on board with the 74. Saving as much as he can. Meanwhile, back here in 5th position, Ed Fiedler looks to the inside of Benjamin Richards. VRX Esports number 10 looking for the 4th position. Stellar day for all of these VRX drivers. They hold 3 out of the top 5 positions. clear, maybe out of turn 2 this time by Richards. Tags the wall on the backstretch. Back on offense for the 56. Fiedler had the 4th position there briefly. Look back inside. Fiedler has the spot. Here comes Richards again. Not going to give it up easily. Looking back up front, though, at the point, Daniel Love not saving fuel. Now is on the clutch pedal. Might be too little too late for the 71. We'll have to wait and see. 12 laps to go. Hennings is back on approach. 1.4 seconds, Doug Wagoner. If Hennings can save enough here, he can easily chase back down on that 71. This race is going to come down to the wire here. It's going to be a fuel battle. Who can save enough to make it to the end of this race? It came down to that with the weird fall of the caution. Everybody comes in. A few drivers did split it into thirds. Wagoner has the 7 truck providing a little bit of draft. That'll help him for some fuel, but looking like a top 3 day for the 30 truck as well. What a strange turn of events, and overall in this race, a lot of drivers that didn't qualify in this top 10 are now up front. Doug Wagoner to 3rd. Ed Fiedler up to 4th. That's 2 trucks that weren't in this top 10 to start this race. And they continue on. 10 laps to go. $20 more miles here from Auto Club. Love, Hennings, Wagoner, Fiedler, and Richards, the top 5. Ramsey, Scott, Behrman, Hurst, and Adamson, your top 10. Daniel Love trying to maintain that gap of 1.6 seconds over Brian Hennings. But on the clutch pedal, pretty heavy for both these trucks. On board with the 71. Let's listen in to the 74 again. I don't know. The strategy all over the place. Hennings under fire from Doug Wagoner, who has chased him down. Love's lead has dwindled down to 1 second. And a quick reminder, we still have some Madness Money Racing right after this event at Daytona. This fuel strategy is madness in itself. Island gets a lap back. Wagoner is convinced he can't make it down to the end of this race. He'll pull it into the pits. That'll alleviate Hennings. Can Daniel Love make it to the end? I know Hennings seems to be in extra conservation mode. Lead was down to just a few tenths of a second. It's lengthened back out to 1.5. Here comes Ed Fiedler and Benjamin Richards. 3 wide into 1. Three wide out of 2. Down the backstretch. Benjamin Richards to a podium position. Is he saving fuel? I don't know. A fight amongst all 3 of the VRX drivers in the top 5. Teresa Spiker, a couple laps down here, going to provide a little bit of draft for the 56. Five laps to go for Daniel Love. 0.7 of a second as Richards chases him down. Four laps left. Approaching that white flag. 4 drivers have brought it down to pit road. Jimmy Pylan, Dale Adamson, all convinced they couldn't make it. Johnny Hurst also came in. Tim Richardson. The list is continuing to grow for drivers that can't make it to the very end. Ryan Hennings just trying to think the shortest way around this track. Benjamin Richards had the lead down to 0.7. He started to put pressure on Daniel Love, who turned it back on. Could that be enough to run him out of fuel? He's on the clutch pedal again. 2 laps to go, this time by. Richards, if you have enough fuel, now's the time to go. It turned into a fuel strategy race. For the top 4, Hennings has fallen back 1.8 seconds. The attempt to make the end of this race in just 2 stops. They've stretched it to 29 laps. As we come out of turn 4, Daniel Love, your pole sitter, does he have enough fuel? White flag in the air. 0.7 of a second separate first and second position. This could come down to the wire. No clue on the fuel strategy. Heavy on the clutch for these last 30 laps. Down to 0.6. Podium day for Benjamin Richards and Edward Fiedler, but it doesn't look like Daniel Love is going to run out of fuel out of turn 4 for the final time here today. Daniel Love is going to take race 13. Daniel Love is your winner at Auto Club. Congratulations to Daniel Love and holding up enough fuel. Benjamin Richards and Edward Fiedler, your top 3. Fireworks go off on the back straightaway. And Daniel Love might have saved enough for a post-race celebration on this front stretch. Post-race interviews with your top 3. Those final race results coming up here on V-Speed. Congratulations to the 71 and what they were able to do. More coverage and post-race continues on V-Speed right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to Auto Club Speedway and its classic configuration. Roughneck Racing has concluded its 100 laps at this 2-mile oval. The progressive banking and the fuel strategy it's known for did not disappoint here today. Final results up on your screen with 12 lead changes and 1 caution. It's your pole sitter. Big shakeup here in the top 10. Drivers all over the place, but it's Daniel Love getting the victory by over half a second, almost a full second, over Benjamin Richards and Edward Fiedler phenomenal job here today for the 10 truck. Post-race interviews with those drivers in just a moment. Brian Hennings falls back to 4th, frustrated with pitting 1 lap too early. Chris Ramsey, a top 5 for the 13. Jeff Scott, 6th position. Larry Fairman, an up-and-down day, ultimately will come home in 7th. Johnny Hurst, out of the cycle from about lap 30, never able to recover after starting in 4th position, will come home in 8th. Dale Adamson, out of the ordinary, will finish in 9th. And Jimmy Pilan, last week's winner, will round out your top 10. It's Greg Chains Jolly for the 11th position here tonight. 12th spot goes to Teresa Spiker. Tim Richardson will finish 13th. Then you have Justin Hollings, who had problems there earlier, had to burn that fast repair, got stuck in the wall. And Doug Wagoner, who brought it back down pit road. He'll finish out this race 7 laps down in the 15th position. And finally, with that, first driver we're going to bring into the broadcast booth, it's your 3rd place finisher, Ed Fiedler. Well, Edward, I got to say, it was a patient drive all night. You got caught up in a couple different things here. I believe at the very start, this race wasn't looking like a top 3. You turned it around, though. That caution helped bail you out, and you put this thing on the podium.
Yeah, I was going back over the replay on lap 6. I come down on somebody, threw myself down to the infield, put myself in last. I said, never say die, keep my foot down. Say that caution caught me back up. After that, it was green flag the rest of the way. I said, got to nail these pit stops, no penalties. Got in and out clean, and it all worked out for me.
Well, overall, Ed, this race turned into a fuel strategy, and you seemed like you didn't have to save really at all. You had charged your way after those pit stops from about the 6th, 7th position all the way up to the top 3. You really didn't have that much of an advantage, though, and I got to ask, that 1 lap later that you pitted there compared to the top 2, did you feel like you could have maybe had an extra 5 laps, could have won this race?
Well, being they came in before I did, I knew they were going to run out first. I said, if they can't make it, well, maybe I can. So I stayed out until the very last lap, didn't come in until I was bone dry, and I had what was about 7/10 of a lap left at the end.
So no on the extra 5 laps. It looked like you saved enough just coming in later than everyone else. Phenomenal job here tonight, Ed. And I got to ask, who put the 10 truck on the racetrack tonight?
Well, actually, that would be my friends down there in VRX actually put that car on the track tonight. I wouldn't be here without them. So send a big shout out to them. And thank you, Bradley, for broadcasting this race. We're glad to have you here.
Glad to have you up here in the booth with me, Ed. Phenomenal job. I think this is maybe the 2nd, 3rd time that I've had you up in the broadcast booth for a post race. Just a great job all around, and carry this momentum into next week when we go to New Hampshire.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'll try to do that.
It's Ed Fiedler, your 3rd place finisher here tonight at Auto Club. Looking forward to what he can do next week, New Hampshire. Next driver we're going to pull down into the booth, we have Benjamin Richards. Oh no, I forgot to turn off my soundboard. You guys always convince me to turn this back on. And there's a new thing about Soundmoji. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to turn that off too. Doesn't happen very often here on V-Speed, but occasionally it does. And when it does, Benjamin Richards is always behind it. So we've already had the disclaimer for your introduction. So I guess the next part of this, Ben, is how was the race tonight? I mean, you had a real chance here tonight at stealing the win away.
Yeah, and it come down to a fuel mileage race. I ran out just before I crossed the start finish. I was clutching for like the last 10 laps. So fuel wise, I didn't think I had anything for him, but I knew that as long as I maintained, I was good.
Well, I got to go back to the beginning of this race. It looked like you were shot out of a cannon. You went from the back of the field at ninth spot all the way up to competing for the top two. Actually, it got to the inside of the leader at one point. Just, I mean, take us through. What were you doing differently? What made this truck feel so good? You looked bad fast there in the first 20 laps.
I don't know. I mean, I think I was pushing it a little too much, running it a little too hard, and using up too much tire. And when I got beside the leaders, I was on the inside, and it's just so hard to pass down there when everyone's on equal equipment.
Well, I got to go back here. It's not very often that I rewind, but if you ever wanted to take a screenshot of something, go back and find this in the broadcast. This is off of turn 2, and this is absolutely what I would take a snapshot of. It's all three of the VRX trucks coming out of turn 2. You guys were competing for that top, those podium spots. Was there any communication between you guys coming out of turns 3 and 4 on who can make it on fuel?
I knew Edward could make it because he double stopped on the last caution. Or yeah, so he had a little more fuel, like a lap more. Brian Hennings pitted a lap before me under the green flag on the last stop. So I knew he was a lap short. And we were just telling each other, I'm good. I got a clutch. I'm not going to make it. But a heck of a job by everyone tonight. And, you know, as it often comes down to it, California and Michigan come down to fuel tonight.
Yeah.
Darn good race. I mean, it was fun. Everyone was clean, given room. It was a good race. And tonight I eliminated my mistakes.
Yes, you did. And I'll go back to, a few things. There was mistakes by drivers at any given point in this race, but we go back to that caution there at the midway point. It kind of hit the reset button for everyone. And if you were learning or maybe got yourself into a situation, I think that kind of helped everyone regroup and put everyone back into a favorable scenario to win this race. But ultimately you come home in second position. Benjamin Richards, I know you got him. Go ahead and shout him out, including your soundboard.
Yeah, I kept the soundboard clean tonight. Uh, I want to thank you at V Speed, Bradley. Awesome job as always. Roughneck Racing for the league. Wagner Welding for the sponsorship. VRX, Mama T Racing. My wife Tony, who is also my painter, and give it up for Daniel Love and Edward Fiedler there, man. I mean, what a run by them guys, too.
It's phenomenal. It really was fun to watch. One caution. Great job here tonight. Benjamin Richards, appreciate your time up here in the booth. And I'm currently looking for Daniel Love. I think I've located him.
He's in Brian Hennings' hangout. And one more thing. My crew earned it tonight. We're going to White Castle.
Yeah, that's definitely where I would take. You don't want to hang out with them after that though. That's what I've heard.
Right, I have his private jet to fly home on. They got to go commercial.
Yeah, get him in the economy seats. Benjamin Richards, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Bradley. Have a good one and see you next race.
And Benjamin Richards, second place finisher here tonight from Auto Club. And finally, we're going to bring our winner of the race, the 71 of Daniel Love. Lots of fuel strategy here for the end of this race. You had taken over the lead. I guarantee that truck was probably 100, 200 pounds lighter when it crossed that finish line.
It was on fumes, to say the least. I
So
can't believe I made it.
Let's go back to that caution. You and Hennings had kind of spread out. There was a weird strategy. Some drivers had taken 2 tires. Really, the calls were all over the place. But ultimately, you're sitting on the pole. You come out here with a lot of speed, have a slight little mistake. And what I mentioned to Richards earlier in this interview was it hit the reset button. How did you feel about that caution? Did it kind of level the playing field, put everyone back to the same ground?
Yes, absolutely. I love cautions because to stay out front with a competitive field, you have to run as fast as you can the entire time. I knew I was burning my stuff up. Everybody else was too. And whenever that caution flag came out, I was like, here we go. Now I can kind of reset myself, saying you mentioned the reset button. I can kind of reset myself a little bit. I know what they've got. I know how they're driving, and I can adjust everything to my driving. What do you call it? Sorry, my driving.
Your tempo,
yeah. Yeah. I can change the way I'm driving to basically beat them. So just played it off of that, and it was honestly, I can't believe I made it on fuel.
What was that decimal coming across the line there? We didn't have enough for a post-race celebration. You're probably sitting around a couple tenths.
It was literally 0.1. I had nothing left. It was clutch in every single corner and just maintained a gap.
Could have ran out across the line. It would have been better, I think, for the ratings, but ultimately better for your sanity. Kept that pulse rate down and just enough. I mean, Daniel, it's one of those races that kind of got weird at times. I still I want to go back to the broadcast start. It was a little bit late, just a weird series of events. Congratulations, though, on how this all turned out for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. And I also want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors, including James Wagoner Welding. If they weren't sponsoring us, I don't know if we'd be here. They are, and also to your broadcast, it's very professional. I watch it. Even I didn't make the race last week, but I love watching it. And shout out to everybody who is watching.
We appreciate that very much. Thank you for the compliments, but really and truly, it comes down to the drivers that are behind the wheel, and you were victorious. You did it better than everyone else here tonight at Auto Club. Thank you for the kind words. Daniel Love, carry this momentum into week 14 at New Hampshire.
Yes, let's go win a championship.
There you go. Daniel Love, winner here tonight from Auto Club, and that will do it for our coverage here tonight at California. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast. I know that it got off to a little bit of a rough start, but ultimately everything was covered. And that's the most important part of all of this. And with that, we've still got some racing left to do. Schedule coming up on your screen here. You can see there with New Hampshire on the 29th. Just a matter of time before we go back live, hopefully at the exact time I'm supposed to, at 7:25 Eastern time. You can catch all the action, flag-to-flag coverage of the Roughneck Racing Truck Series live on V-Speed. Well, that's going to do it here for everybody up in the booth and everyone in the background. Lots of things going on. You can catch us live again here in just a moment as we'll be covering the Madness Money Series at Daytona. That will be going live within the hour. For everybody that put this on, James Wagoner and Wagoner Welding. Anna Baker in the background helping us out with Team V-Speed. Our other producers, Eddie Smith, Logan Threlkeld, Morgan Cook, and Christian Hill. Daniel Lyon also on that list. Great contributor to V-Speed. This is Bradley Cooper telling you so long from California. We'll see you very soon here on V-Speed. Until then, stay tracking.